Since we're talking about being practical, there's nothing more impractical than living your life according to the approval of others. And it blows up my mind how people can change the way they believe or the way they dress, the way they act on things just in order to be approved by others. Not everything is gonna work for everyone. Practical people understand that and they move forward from that. Hello everyone, this is Inspired Tuesday number 77. Because our team at Icon and Alceno believes that starting the day motivated and inspired sets up the rest of the day for success. We bring quotes to our morning huddles and it has been so positive to our team that we decided to share it with you and hope to motivate and inspire you as well. Today the topic is be practical. For a practical person, the method to get to the result, it's not very relevant because the result itself is more important than speculations or intentions. Practical people are very helpful during tough and crisis times. I have in here 3 tips to help our team and you to be practical. I'll talk about 2 tips, bring 1 quote, and then 1 more tip. Enjoy! Tip number 1 is be a realist. One thing practical people are really good at is to have a good sense of reality and be grounded. They pick essentials on people and situations and they act on it. They don't doubt it and put a speculation on the subject. Like, if I had done this, my friend does this. Practical people, they see this. I have a situation. I didn't do this in the past. Whatever, I learned, but today, this is what I have, so let's move from here and adjust to what I have today. And leadership at our work, we were really good to notice this because we bought a software that you can see metrics of the different departments. At some point we had to create our own. And we worked so hard on this in our work because we have a different mindset, right? A different vision. It's a group practice, more doctors operating. So the metrics that we use has to be compatible to our vision. Same thing as parenting. Like, you can't just I read a book or my friend does this every day to their family and that's why it works. I've always wallowed on this. Like, I have friends that my kids always go to bed at 7. Mine never did. And be practical. And they're fine. They're healthy. I had to adjust to things, but not everything is gonna work for everyone. Practical people understand that and they move forward from that side. You work towards the situation that you have and not in speculation and what other people do. It's more what works for this stage or the situation that you are living in. So be practical and be a realist. Tip number 2 is don't depend on praise or criticism. Okay, since we're talking about being practical, there's nothing more impractical than living your life according to the approval of others. And it blows up my mind how people can change the way they believe or the way they dress, the way they act on things just in order to be approved by others. Actually, practical people, the perspective on things is any action that I do, I may end up getting a criticism on it. And it's fine. Not everybody needs to think the same. And it's okay to be criticized. You're gonna get both praise and criticism, no matter what. So practical people just move on with it and accept it and don't depend on that. For example, I was extremely criticized when I was going to dental school because my daughter was going full day to school. Oh, this is so bad for her. I can't believe you do this to her so you can study. She's totally fine. So I have a different opinion on this subject because of my experience. I literally think like my son went right to school even before he didn't need to be there, but I think that he's learning so much more. He's being way more social. That's my belief. And it works for me like that. And that's the same thing. Like even at work, like when I'm having reps come in or like showing me products or new material and stuff. Oh, this really worked for this doctor. If my team and the doctors that I work with don't like it, I don't care who else likes it. It has to be for you and it's fine. I don't need to go by what others think. And that's how we see life. Not everybody think the same and not everybody like the same thing, but we gotta adjust for what we believe and move on with that and not depend on criticism or praise because that's really not practical. So that's a great tip right there.
A quote from Arthur Schnitzler: "To be practical in life means to take everything seriously and nothing tragically."
Tip number 3 is prioritize and be determined. Okay, practical people are people of action. But actions, in order to be effective, they need to be in order and they need to be clear. Because if you guys watch the commencement speech of Denzel Washington, a main thing he says right there is, don't confuse being busy with being productive. It's not. It's a two different things. You gotta, in order to be productive, you gotta know how to prioritize and you gotta be determined. You're not necessarily picking up most of the things to be done that are easier. Sometimes you gotta pick what's hard first. The ideal way to do it is like, I'm gonna pick the first thing to do that is gonna make all these other things easier to flow the day. It doesn't matter if it's hard, if I like it, if I don't like it, how am I gonna do it? Practical people don't wallow like this. It needs to be done, it's gonna get done. Right? It's practical. I need to do it in order to be able to not make mistakes on the other ones. It's not like, let's hear, complain about life on how hard it is. It's not practical. Right? So for us, when we hit this really hard is like when we open a second location. So however we're operating in one business, there are a few things that wouldn't work as good if you keep doing it in 2 locations, because there is a certain efficiency that you have to have and a certain operations and systems that you need to create in order to scale. So to complain that now this is changing because it's bigger, because it gets harder, practical people don't see that. It needs a change because that's how it's going to be better and make everybody's life better and serve our patients better. We do it instead of being no and then fighting it. Right? Practical people, they see it and they act and they are efficient on the action and very determined. So that's tip number 3 right there. And I hope you guys like the topic and the quote today, and I'd love to hear from you. Are you practical, or do you have a harder time and you wallow and things go on and on for you? And a great question right here too is, do you have a hard time moving on and not getting approval of if someone criticizes you? Or does it make you really feel bad if you're being criticized? Leave me comments below and I'd love to connect with you. And if you have any topic that you'd like me to talk about, make sure to leave me a comment below as well. And if you haven't done yet, go ahead and subscribe to our YouTube channel and like our page on Facebook and Instagram at Icon Law Center for more Inspire Tuesday. I'll see you guys next week. Bye-bye.